How are you feeling today, Mr. President?
I feel very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. This witch hunt that's going on using statute 6312, which is a consumer fraud statute, which may be unconstitutional, doesn't allow me a jury, doesn't allow me anything. We have a prosecutor, Letitia James, who's incompetent, and what she's doing to our state, forcing companies out by the thousands, forcing people out, forcing companies out by the thousands, while crime and violent crime in particular runs rampant. So this witch hunt does not allow me a jury. A lot of people say, oh, that can't be possible, somebody didn't check a box. It has nothing to do with it. Under 6312, you are not entitled to a jury. It's the first time it's ever been used for a purpose like this. Never been used. They used it on me, the former president, the leading candidate. I'm leading Joe Biden by a lot, which is probably why this is all happening. Not probably, why, it's definitely. They're coordinating with Washington, 100%. But without that, none of these cases would be going on. They've weaponized justice in our country. This trial is a disgrace. Never happened, a thing like this has never happened before. And just simply, I put in financial statements with a disclaimer. In other words, don't even bother reading them to the banks. I borrowed money on, very under leverage, borrowed money on a building or something, many different things. I borrowed the money, I paid back the money in full, 100%. There were no defaults, there were no letters of reprimand, the banks were extremely happy, and in many cases I paid the money back early. And then I got sued years later by this horrible attorney general, this woman that ran for governor and failed. You know, she did this because she was running for governor. And then she ran and she failed. She had no polls and they forced her out. And she came back and she became attorney general again. And we got stuck with her. So she brought the case under the statute that had never been used for a thing like this before, ever, where I'm not entitled to a jury. Because if I had a jury, even though it's in New York, and I think I'd be fine with New York, but if I had a jury, we'd win this case very easily. But I don't have a jury. And you see what's happening. This is a railroading. And it's the beginning of communism in our country. This is the beginning of communism. So we're going back in. Playing the game, we're doing everything right. But just so you remember, I borrow money, the statements were perfect. Not only perfect, the statements are much more conservative than my real net worth. My real net worth is much higher, not lower, much higher than the statements. So I put the statements in. They don't use the statements because it has a disclaimer clause. They do their own work. The clause tells them, do your own due diligence, do your own work. And that's where we are. And I got sued. And I hear I may be guilty of a lot for no reason. They may give a lot of money for something where there was nothing wrong. This is a witch hunt. This is just a continuation of the witch hunt that started the day I came down the escalator in Trump Tower. And it's a shame for our country. You borrow money, you pay it back. The bank loves us. They said, what did he do wrong? He didn't do anything wrong. We loaned him money, a big bank. These are big banks, by the way, represented by the biggest law firms, the most prestigious, the best law firms in the country. You borrow money, you pay it back, and you get sued by a political animal. And that's where we are. And that's the way it goes. And that's why New York State is failing, and that's why companies are leaving by the thousands. I'll see you later. Thank you.